Verehrte Fest- und Jubiläumsgäste,
dear guests of our anniversary, we are very much delighted, very much delighted indeed that you are gathering with us in this not only historical and symbolic prize to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the International Charlemagne Prize. And we are so grateful to you, President Metsola, that you have made yourself available to give a speech to us. Thank you so much for this, on behalf of all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not only delighted and honored, and we are certainly grateful, but I may assure you that the International Charlemagne Prize, with everybody that is supporting it, still feels fit and young enough for the future in order to realize the very objective, the real European integration someday. That's what we are working for, that's our goal, and that's why we are coming together at occasions as this one, but also in our everyday work. Please help us, support us in order to become this objective a reality, with our objective of peace in democracy and freedom. Then to our history. It's more or less the history of the European Union. Well, we've heard it from the Lord Mayor. On the ruins of the Second World War, this International Charlemagne Prize, but also the idea of European integration were first of all born here in Western Europe, and this led to the treaties of Rome of 1958. And after that, the European institutions were built up, and later on we had the gradual enlargement of what was then still called the European Economic Community. This was a great start, a great beginning. We had made clear promises to each other, and then we negotiated and signed treaties between states that were to set up a common economic space, later on a common political space, and later on also a monetary union. And we were always at the side of this European project with its ups and downs. And at these occasions, we actually had pressed for promotion, for advancement. We also gave some impulses, and at different occasions, we also discussed alternatives, how we could take this European Union further. And for us, and please allow me to tell you so, Europe is the ideal idea, the greatest idea of all. It is a common project that has no alternative. Of course, also there had also been mistakes made with our International Charlemagne Prize. It has not always been hunky-dory. I do remember that the Ostpolitik was not sufficiently honored by the Charlemagne Prize, and that had become later a key tool for the pan-continental, the pan-European understanding. And then the intergovernmental cooperation, not only between national governments, but also between the European institutions, had not been sufficiently appreciated by us with regard to awarding the Charlemagne Prize. We actually had institutions that were unfortunately very far away from reality, but Europe all by itself has not always been a success. There have been a number of paradigm shifts in the meantime, and throughout these 7 decades there had been issues, sometimes great problems in Europe, and now Europe has to resist. We have external aggressors, but we also have enemies within. There is disruptive action being taken by so-called friends. Morale, dear friends, does distinguish between good and evil and between what is right and what is wrong, legally speaking. So, morale, I think, is one of our essential obligations of all of us. So, this means only a policy that is moral will enable us to build up and to maintain a successful community that can convince citizens that it is worthwhile working for it, that protects these citizens in favor of freedom, democracy, upholding the rule of law and peace, and keeping peace. Europe and the European way of life are something very special. Nevertheless, we do have to extend its advantages to all those that feel disadvantaged, left behind, not heard, do not have trust, that perceive Europe as a project for the elites. And this group of people is getting bigger. And this group thereby will also become dangerous for both Europe and our European project. So we, as the Charlemagne Prize Society, we are not policy makers, no, but we do want to have policies, and we do want to have an impact, influence, opinion, public opinion, and sometimes also show oppositions, or as our founding fathers and mothers, and we want to have an impact on the very pressing and essential issues of our time by a gradual further enlargement of this European Union to its continental dimension, and also raise our voice in Europe for the entire world, for a fair trade and peaceful trade between nations, and by peacefully defending our community. And I think this is very important to be emphasized during these weeks and months, and what seems to have been forgotten over the past months, also by safeguarding our natural resources. And we see our task in disseminating the European idea, and only by doing this we can improve our living conditions in Europe. We do believe in Europe, and we fight for Europe, for a political Europe, for a Europe of free thinking, of free speech, of cultural and political diversity, from Erasmus programs, exchange schemes for students, of free travel, free movement witho't frontiers. We also fight for a Europe with a common currency, and I'm repeating myself here, of a common defense policy, a Europe that enjoys Goethe, Voltaire, Shakespeare, and perceives these authors as their common wealth. So, albeit here in Aachen, in the Aachen Cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral, or the great Budapest Synagogue, that perceives actually our information society as a platform for the economic future, and above all, respects freedom, democracy, human rights, equality, and the rule of law as a common set of values. The European project, ladies and gentlemen, will remain far beyond this anniversary, a task and obligation for all of us. This anniversary is, of course, a great opportunity to celebrate, but also a call upon us to position ourselves, to well position ourselves for the future. And that's what we want to do, not only by awarding the International Charlemagne Prize, but with all of you. Thank you so much, and happy anniversary. I do have the great pleasure to announce to you the keynote speech to be given by the President of the European Parliament, Mrs. Roberta Metsola. She will deliver her speech in English, but you may use, if you wish to do so, the German simultaneous interpretation.